Hey everyone, this is Mary Ann at Akashic Inspirations, and today is Thursday, November 1st, 2012. Um, Today's reading, I've decided to do for Samhain the wheel spread. And since I have a varied amount of decks, you'll see I have 12 cards and they're each from different decks. So each card will represent a different month. So I hope you can see this well. If not, I'll try and pull up the pictures, the cards for you. Um, it's funny because when I was younger or wasn't really aware of Samhain or the Celtic New Year, every year in November, I would always get like these visions for the next year. And I never understood why I would get them in November and not in January. Well, now I know because it's Samhain. So now it makes total sense to me as to why I get visions and stuff in November because it's basically it's the new year. So now I've decided to do our next year from November of 2012 until October of 2013. And the first card, which has come up in other readings, this is from the Thoth Tarot, and it is the Tower. And what I really am called to here is this eye of perception above reigning above everything. So I think it's basically talking about really our change, dramatic change and transformation in our perception, our metamorphosis from the old to the new, being awakened to our authentic self, a healing, restoration, renovation. The old structures are being gone, the old structures within us, old paradigms that will no longer serve us within ourselves are going to be taken away. And I've paired it up with my Jasper today. And so I think the month of November is really initiating these changes as we go, into the change of December 21st. Which leads us to our next card, which is from the Wisdom of the House of Night. And this card is called the Fledgling. I really love it because she's got the new, the moon up here for her. And I love that they have the goddess symbol up here. And it's kind of like this burning passion within her. It's kind of a really interesting looking card. And she's got this symbol here on her wrist. I don't know if you could see that, of the three. And basically, this is a time of new beginnings. December is going to be where we learn new things, new growth, wonder, new opportunities, willingness to discover the new things within ourselves. And of course, that is all entering into the December 31st. So, what are these new changes? What are these new things? Well, January will bring us, and this is from the art from the Eyes of the Soul cards, and it's Dawning of the Green Man. And you'll see he's got antlers up here. He's like in Stonehenge or something, which is the portal. And it says, embrace the three worlds. So what are the three worlds? Well, mind, body, spirit, the upper, the middle, the underworld, however you want to vocalize it. But it's basically a balance. It's how we are going to be able to embrace these three worlds, balance the three of them, and combine them, and use this as a passage that will take us into multidimensional travel, shamanism, um, all of those things that will allow us through this new age coming into Aquarius, which is what it's all about, is an integration and a community and using the group consciousness. And so this is what January is going to imply for us, is that being able to be open to these new multidimensional spaces. Then we lead into February. And February talks, this is from the Magical Messages from the Fairies. And the card is Travel. Again, we've got these antlers, which are also lit up, showing us it could be spiritual travel. So getting to know our own inner source. or it could be a physical trip to some sacred space, to some sacred center, something that's going to be life changing, whether it be in the physical or in the spiritual. As we'll know, we'll have all our worlds combined. So it could be a combination of travel, some going to some place that is spiritual that will then enlighten you further in your spiritual path. Um, so I'm seeing a lot of the lights here on her house. She's lighting with her wand. The fairies going to I think we're going to be working a lot with the elements of the earth for February. A lot of fairies, elementals. um, you're going to possibly meet a new significant person, changing of career or home. So it could be travel in many or all aspects. Then in March, we're working with the Healing with the Angels by Doreen Virtue. And the card is ideas and inspiration. So after these travels, what are we going to do? We're going to come back home and we're going to put everything together. What are the things that we learned on this travel? By listening to our intuition, by listening to our thoughts, using them as guidance for ideas, for creativity. The angels want us to know that that God and the divine is giving us guidance through our inspiration, through our intuition, through our new thoughts that we have come about and learned through this travel. And the stone I'm using for March is the rose quartz. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention the travel was turquoise, and January is amethyst. I know that's not traditional, but this is how I felt it needed to be. Then we go on to April. In April, I'm using the Wisdom of the Higher Realms by Colette Baron Reed, and it is called The Wise Woman of Wonderland, Integrity and Compromise. And for there, I'm using my Tiger Eye. And the messages that we're going to have for April is to stay true to yourself, to being authentic, that being authentic and being who you are is what's going to pay off to give you even more than you had hoped or even thought could be possible, to stay in the flow. So from segueing from ideas and into inspiration into keeping to the true path that you know is for you, and to understand that that is the way that you need to go. Then we go on to May, and we have here the ivy. This is from the Celtic Tree Oracle cards, and ivy is representing the spiral of the self. It's a search for self. The labyrinth and the maze, you'll see down here, this is actually a labyrinth. Let's see if I can get that. See, it's a labyrinth, it's a maze. And they were used a lot in meditations. The most famous one is, well, the actual first ones were in Crete, where, of course, you had the Minotaur. So it's basically a exploration, soul searching, assisting others on their journey as well, being part of the collective group consciousness of the spirals in as so below. What is it? As above, so below. As the microcosm and the macrocosm. So that's going to be for May. Then we go on to June, which are the prosperous months. And we start out with, this is the goddess Tarot, and we have Guinevere. And she is representing the 20th card of the Major Arcana, the Judgment card. In this sense, I believe it also brings in balance. It brings in right decision making. It brings in confidence, brings in movements into the next phase of life, making those important decisions. And here I'm working with the carnelian, and in the ivy I had the citrine. So Guinevere was she's what brought the balance. What they didn't understand is that it wasn't her physical but her spiritual and her spirit process that it was that brought the balance into Camelot. Then we move on to July, and we have the happy yes and Ganesh. Ganesh is a lord of the dance. He's the remover of obstacles. So anything that we saw that was in our way that no longer served is now out of it. The doors are open. The path is clear. It's a great time to move or make a change. He is the lord of dancing as well, so he's lots of fun. And with him, I have the adventuring. Then that leads us to August. And in August, I've chosen the Sacred Geometry card and working with Archangel Michael and the Lapis Lazuli. And this is, of course, higher intent. We've got the higher chakras, the throat, the third eye, the crown, and the card is enlightenment. Enlightenment. So you have to realize that you are a being of light and the personification of strength and of divinity. So it is God, us realizing our God self, our realizing who we truly are, that we are all light beings. And by acknowledging that we are light beings, we're then taken to September. And in September, we're working with the card. This is the Sirius Starseed Tarot, and the card is for alchemy. And it is the 14th card of the major arcana. And this one represents using all of the elements. Here we have, this is like a glass sphere that's being hand blown. Here we have the water that uses to cool it, the fire that creates it, the sand, which is the earth element, and of course the air to be blown. But the fifth element, which is the ethers and the akasha, which is not seen, is the intent of the artist. So you, through quantum physics, are part of the experiment. What are you creating? What is your intent? You have all of the elements at your disposal. What are you going to be transmuting? What are you going to be creating? New creations, working with all of the elements that we've been given at the beginning of the year come to fruition in September. And our last beautiful card for the next year, which will be October, and these are the angels. I wanted the divine message from Angels of Atlantis, and the message that comes through is Metatron with wisdom. Your own divine wisdom. Now that we've gone through the alchemical process, and here I'm using my Lemurian crystal, one of my Lemurian crystals, they're rose tinted Lemurian. And of course, Lemurian has to do with Metatron and the holder of wisdom. We have all of this. I can't see if you can see here. It has down next to the Sphinx here, there's symbols, there's words written. So a lot of the Akashics are going to be coming out to give us divine guidance. And the way that the divine Akashics work is that it works through your dreams, it works through your intuitions. So you don't have to have taken a class in Akashic to be able to access your Akashic records. You access them actually every night in your dreams. You go to that higher place. So this will allow you to bring that higher wisdom and manifest it into this reality with awareness and with consciousness. So, okay, so let's just give a recap. We're starting November with the Tower, but it is not necessarily bad. It is a transmutation of old into new, and new, exciting, being authentic with yourself. Then new beginnings with the fledgling in December, new things that are coming into being, as we know. January brings us the ability to combine and balance our worlds and be able to travel metaphysically through multi-dimensions. That continues into February with actual physical travel or a spiritual journey. which will lead us to ideas and inspirations in March, and having the wisdom to be yourself authentically in May, in April, excuse me. And in May, we have the ivy, which is the spiral, that deeper, deeper search of self. In June, we have the judgment, which is a balance and a confidence and knowing what decisions to make. July brings us the open doors of all the things that we've been asking for, all the obstacles removed. August brings us enlightenment, an understanding of our divinity within us. And by using that divinity in September to make those alchemical changes, to actually transform one substance into something else, and the wisdom of our own God self for the end of October. So I think next year is going to be an amazing, amazing time. I hope you've enjoyed this, and please let me know what you think of my wheel spread for the Celtic year. I've really enjoyed doing this. It was lots and lots of fun, and I wish you many blessings today on this day of Samhain and All Souls for those who are in the Catholic religion. And I wish you many blessings, light, and love. Namaste.